Sheffield United and Sunderland fans, how are the nerves? Let me know in the comments down below. We've only got one game remaining of this championship season, and it's the big one. It's the championship playoff final coming up on Saturday. Sunderland against Sheffield United. It should be a good one. I want to hear your guys' score predictions for this game in the comments down below. We're going to be previewing it in today's video, taking a deeper look into each side and how they got here. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe. Without any further ado, let's jump in. So in terms of how we saw both teams getting to the final, we obviously had Sheffield United comfortably dispatching of Bristol City over two legs, beating them 6-0 on aggregate. The reverse fixture at Bramall Lane, another really comfortable showing from the Blades. Goals from Kiefer Moore, Gus Hamer and Callum O'Hare ensured that they're going to be playing at Wembley on Saturday. And to be honest, I feel like we didn't really learn that much about the Sheffield United side from those two playoff games. They were so comfortable in both of them. The pendulum obviously really swinged in that first leg when Bristol City were reduced down to 10 men, and from that point onwards it was very difficult to see Sheffield United ever throwing this game away. But 6 goals across your last two matches, you know, their forwards especially are going to be coming into this game with a bit of wind in their sails, which is definitely what you want, and back-to-back clean sheets as well also isn't to be sniffed at in playoff football. Whereas Sunderland took a bit more of an unconventional route to get into the final, I think it's fair to say. Now, a lot of people, myself included, coming into this semi-final for Sunderland probably were fancying Coventry as the team to make it to Wembley. Sunderland, the way they'd ended the regular season with 5 consecutive defeats, a lot of us weren't sure where the headspace of that team was at right now, and Coventry just had that little bit more momentum about them. But despite Cov having more of the ball across the two legs, some good chances as well, Sunderland played both games perfectly, didn't they? And they were so defensively resolute. I mean, Dan Ballard at the back especially was absolutely magnificent over both legs. The fact that we've seen Sunderland come through to really testing games against Coventry, been as defensively resolute as they've been able to look pretty deadly on the counter in both games as well. That's an interesting recipe going into a playoff final where they'll probably adopt a similar sort of game plan, and the fact we've seen them execute it so well twice already does make me think that Sunderland definitely could have something up their sleeve for this final. Obviously, the goal in the 122nd minute from Dan Ballard was absolute pandemonium, probably the best limbs we've seen in the Championship all season when that goal went in. Winning it 3-2 on aggregate, yeah. There is a feeling at Sunderland that something special could be in the air after the manner of which they won that game. Now, in terms of the head-to-head records between these two sides in recent history, it is fairly mixed. In the regular season this time around, we had Sheffield United beating Sunderland back in November at Bramall Lane. Then the reverse fixture at the Stadium of Light, Sunderland won it 2-1, and we had two quite entertaining matches there, actually. So back in November when these two sides met at Bramall Lane, it was a Tom Davies goal in the 83rd minute, which was the difference between both sides. But a really hectic back and forth game here. We had 2 red cards in that game at Bramall Lane. We had Sunderland missing a penalty as well. Patrick Roberts it was who had his penalty saved by the goalkeeper in that first half, and in the end Sheffield United managed to get a little bit more momentum towards the end and walked away with a 1-0 triumph. But then in the reverse fixture in January, there was just as much drama in this game at the Stadium of Light. This time it was Sheffield United who missed a penalty early on. Kiefer Moore couldn't convert his spot kick. And then we had 3 really quick-fire goals towards the end of that half, with Mayenda giving Sunderland the lead. A Luke O'Nien own goal got Sheffield United back into it before Wilson Isidore tucked away a really nice finish in the 35th minute. And then second half, it was Sheffield United pushing for that equaliser, but Sunderland held out really well. Now, something that a lot of people are pointing towards for both sides coming into this game is their previous playoff history. And as you can see here, it doesn't look particularly great for either side. So what we can see here are the last 8 playoff campaigns for both Sheffield United and Sunderland, and only 1 win on there, and that's for Sunderland against Wycombe. Other than that, it's literally just been heartbreak for each side in every playoff campaign that they've had apart from that. Obviously, the last time we saw Sunderland in the Championship playoffs prior to this season was in 2022/23. They could only get to the semi-finals, ultimately lost against Luton. Sheffield United lost in the Championship playoff semi-finals the year before that against Nottingham Forest on penalties. And Sheffield United had quite a few failed campaigns in League One as well, where they were trying to get out of that league but failed. Honestly though, I think this sort of stuff here plays more into the supporters' minds than it will any players, coaching staff, things like that, because I mean both teams have got, you know, completely different setups and squads since they were last in sort of a playoff scenario like this. In terms of who the bookies are fancying, it is Sheffield United who are the favourites coming into this game, and I think understandably so. We've just seen them breeze past Bristol City in the regular season. They were better than Sunderland as well, you know, they accumulated more points throughout the campaign, but going off the win probability right now, we've got Sheffield United predicted with a 40% winning probability. Extra time, so a draw, is at 30%, and a Sunderland win is at 30% as well. But how do I see this game going in the final? Well, I'm not going to lie, I think I would agree with those odds. I probably would have Sheffield United as the favourites coming into this game for those same reasons that I've just listed there. I think we're probably going to see a scenario where Sheffield United do have more of the ball and probably have a bit more of the territory in and around the Sunderland box as well. There's going to be key matchups all over the pitch. One that I'm really looking forward to is Kiefer Moore up against Dan Ballard. I think that's going to be such a match-defining battle that, you know, whoever comes out on top between those two is likely probably to be on the winning side. You're obviously going to have Gustavo Hamer in that Sheffield United squad looking to drift inside to the middle and cause Sunderland some problems. The big two threats from Sunderland, though, I think are both on the break, and Mayenda and Isidore are just capable of tying you in knots, aren't they? I want to say it was the game that these two had against each other back in November at Bramall Lane that I think it was Isidore sort of spinning around the halfway line that ended up getting Harry Souttar sent off. He sort of pushed him in the back as he just got away from him. And having that ability to break like that against a side like Sheffield United, who probably will be pushed a little bit higher up the pitch, is a real threat for Sunderland. And yeah, Mayenda as well is going to be a real threat going forward. Playoff finals do tend to be quite low scoring, but I've got a bit of a feeling here that both teams could get on the score sheet. I do think there are a couple of goals to be had in this game. Right now, this is how I envisage things going. I think Sheffield United are going to take the lead. Sunderland are going to get back into this, maybe with a goal on the counter or just a slip at the back from Sheffield United, something like that. But I see one of Isidore or Mayenda getting on the score sheet for this game. I think there's a decent chance that we could go to extra time, but in that extra time, I've just got a gut feeling that Chris Wilder will get Sheffield United over the line. I feel a little bit apprehensive because I've already backed against Sunderland once in this playoff campaign. You know, originally I was fancying Coventry to be the side that got to Wembley to face Sheffield United. So the fact that they proved me wrong once is making me doubt my own prediction a little bit and makes me think that they definitely could pull something off here. But thinking with clarity in my head for what I do think will happen, I'm going to go 2-1 Sheffield United in extra time. I really think we could go down to the wire in this game. I think we're going to get a really good matchup between these two sides. But those are my initial predictions going into the Championship playoff final. I'd love to hear your thoughts of this game in the comments down below. Are you backing Sheffield United? Are you backing Sunderland? And for what reason? Apart from that though, guys, that will wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you did go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like, and I'll see you all in the next one.